let me go ahead and again, hopefully you're inspired by that. Let me go ahead and spotlight Philip for you. Some of you don't know Philip. Most of you don't know Philip. Philip Tice comes incredibly recommended. I asked the coordinator for the Big Wago division. I said, "Hey, who is the best speaker on gifts and accessories?" And he said, "Without question, Philip Tice." So then I was like, "Okay, I gotta somehow find a way to get Philip to do this." And Philip, I can't thank you enough for being gracious to make time. Philip Tice is the events coordinator for Alabama and Mississippi. What an events coordinator is, they're basically the quarterback for the CSP community. That's the best way to describe it. So the division manager might be like the coach or the owner, but they are the quarterback, making sure it happens. And they're doing outstanding. He started in 2015, is at $2.1 million in career sales, has sold $100,000 in gifting just this year. So $100,000 in Cutco gifts, and if you don't know much about this, you're going to learn a lot about this. He's a former branch manager, was a division office manager 2 times, was a district manager. His biggest order, $34,000. Who'd be fired up if you had a $4,000 order, right? $34,000. Biggest day, 44,000. His biggest week, let me just pause for a second. His biggest week was $100,000. Okay. So I just gonna like you get your pens ready to roll. I know your brains are already ready to explode because it's been an outstanding meeting, but Philip is gonna blow your mind. All right. And he's a recent father to a son, Turner, and we had a quick exchange on text about that. And I know he's super fired up about that. So there's a lot of places Philip could be right now. And Philip, I can't thank you enough for making time for us. Take it away, man.
Absolutely, Mike. Thanks for the introduction. I'm actually on our family lake trip right now, and I wanted to make sure I took that opportunity to give back to Central Region because, Mike, I'm sure you know, but Nick has invited me into work the Wisconsin State Fair, and Bert's invited me into work the Iowa State Fair. So, want to make sure I'm doing my part, giving back to the region any way that I can, just to show some reciprocity there and some appreciation. So. Um, when it comes to gifting, it's been a passion of mine for about 4.5 years now since I became a CSP, and I actually gave a similar message at our SC1 conference to our newer guys, reps 50K and under. And immediately we just out of the pilot office, we closed 3 or 4 business gift orders that following week to reps that didn't know what business gifts were the week before. One of them was a 6K order. I know one of them was a close to 10K order, and then one of them was a 2 or 3K order. So I've kind of trimmed the message up and want to make sure that I'm giving you guys my best. And I've actually got a slideshow as well prepared. So I will get that shared here just in a second. Screen share options. Let's see here. Perfect. Slideshow. So there we go. This looks great. So, guys, my name is Philip Tice. I'm from Alabama. Living in the Gulf States Division is where I coordinate. Let's see, it's not. There we go. Having some problems. Screen share is not working, Mike.
No sweat. Do you want to send it to me? And
Hi,
oh,
can you
there we
guys
go.
see that?
Yeah, we got it.
Perfect. There we go. All right, we're good then. So this is my intro to Cutco gifting message. So hope you guys are ready to take some notes. This is going to teach you how to sell business gifts. And even if you sold some already, this is going to help you get some stuff. So that being said, I'm gonna tell a story, really quickly, just to kind of paint the vision here. I love to teach through storytelling. And so that's what I'll start. I've got 2 client stories I'll share with you today. The first one is about a client of mine named Kevin that I sold to Kevin 10 years ago when I first started selling Cutco. And Kevin was just somebody I had grown up with his daughter, and he was on my initial names list. And I think I sold him 4 or 5 knives, nothing crazy. And, um, you know, that was it. I hadn't seen Kevin since. And I was working an event a couple of weeks ago, or actually last month, and I ran into Kevin. He came in, we were talking, and I realized I had never asked Kevin what he did for work back then. That wasn't something we were taught. That's not something that was normalized back then. Outside of just building rapport, like, hey, what do you do for work? Oh, I'm a teacher. Oh, that's awesome. Move on, right? Or if they said, "Hey, oh, I own this company," it's like, "Oh man, that's so crazy! Awesome, move on." And the biggest thing that I would get from that back then was, "Oh, they own a company or they run a business. They can for sure buy a homemaker set, right?" Like that was kind of where my mind was, or maybe even a bigger block set. Whereas nowadays it's completely different, and that's the mindset, shift that I want to make sure we get back to you guys today. So I never asked what he did for work back then. And recently, when I ran into Kevin, I made sure to ask him, "Hey man, what do you do for work?" And I knew that Kevin worked at the quarry in town. And the town where I'm from, the quarry is one of the top, I think it might be the top employer in town. We're in a small town. And they produce the whitest marble on planet Earth. It's where all the Lincoln, like all the monuments in DC with the white marble, all of that marble came from my hometown here in Alabama. And so it's like a big thing we take pride in. And when I asked him what he did for work, Kevin goes, "Yeah, man, I work at the quarry." As I'm looking at him in his like work khakis, white dust all over him. I'm like, "Yeah, of course this guy works at the quarry. I know that." So the first lesson I want to teach today is one, make sure you ask everybody, "Hey, what do you do for work?" And don't just ask it hoping to get, just like a rapport building answer. Ask it with some intention behind it to where if someone does something that is twofold, if they do something that's in a field that you're interested in, obviously you want to note that, and this is a person you can connect with for future opportunities, network, and so on and so forth. But on the flip side, when it comes to gifting, you want to make sure you ask them that question and hoping that they own or run a business of some sort or they're in sales, right? And so that's where I was asking that question at this time. He goes, "I work at the quarry," and obviously, like I said, I knew that. So I said, "Okay, I need to ask this question again, but in a different way." So I said, "Okay, well, what do you do there?" Right. So now we're going deeper level. He go, "Oh, I manage some guys out there." Like, okay, this is not going the way I wanted it to go. So me just figuring out how to work through, no, it's not really an objection, but it's not the answer I want. So I go, "Okay, I need to dig in deeper here, figure out like what exactly this guy does." So I go, "All right, Kevin, yeah, I know you work there. You kind of manage some guys. Like, tell me more. Like, what exactly do you do? I'm genuinely curious. What do you do out there? How many people do you manage?" He's like, "Oh, I manage about 100 people." Like, "Oh my gosh, you manage 100 people? How many people work out there?" He's like, "Oh, we got about 300." Okay, so in my head, this guy, man, he works at the quarry, no big deal to him, right? It's what I call a drive-by answer. You ask a question with intent, and then you don't really get a deep answer. So you got to ask again. It's kind of like when we're asking for referrals and they give us like two, then we got to re-ask and dig deeper. Same thing here, right? So I asked him again and again and again and find out this guy manages a third of the workforce there. He's probably pretty important, probably has some decision-making power, at least some influence. And so while he's not the guy who owns the quarry or the company that mines the quarry, all of a sudden, because I asked a couple of deeper questions just to figure out exactly what he does, now I'm in a place where I can ask him the next question. Do y'all ever do any type of gifting? Now, don't crucify me for using the word y'all. I know I'm from down south. You guys are up north. Don't crucify me for that. But do y'all ever do any type of gifting? At which point he tells me, we don't really do gifts, but we do giveaways at our Christmas party every year. We just have too many employees for us to spend money on every single person. But we do like to do, we give away like Yeti cups and we give away like not sometimes like hunting knives and packages and coolers and TVs and all this kind of stuff at their Christmas party. And so then it started that conversation of, okay, so they do something, we could totally fit Cutco in here somehow. Now I've just got to figure out how that goes. And I'm not going to go too deep on that side today. This is more about teaching you guys to how to have those conversations and how to think about those conversations. So that was client story number one. Now we've got a meeting set up for in September with him and the lady that is actually over their giveaways, and we're going to talk about doing stuff this year. So that hopefully will have a happy ending. Client story number two. This is a guy named Ron I met at an event at a state fair back last October, and Ron was a guy that even after me doing gifting for over 4 years and being a CSP that sold hundreds of thousands of dollars of gifts, Ron was somebody that worked for a company that was in like the tech industry, and I had never sold to anybody gifts in the tech industry before. So even me being considering myself a bit of a veteran, I would found myself at a place to where I didn't know how to confidently talk to Ron about his company, why he should be giving gifts, who he should be giving them to. I was just in a place where I didn't know how to do that. And I share this story specifically, guys, because I think this will relate to a lot of you in that way that you're just not confident in talking about gifting at all yet. And so I'll share with you how I kind of overcame that. So, what I've decided to do, and this is actually going way back to when I first started selling gifts, because we didn't have really any scripts or any guidance for the most part. It was very raw. I just decided to be vulnerable. That's just who I am. That's one of my qualities. If I don't know an answer to something, dating all the way back to when I was a branch, instead of just sitting there and beating myself up because I don't know the perfect thing to say in the moment, I would pick up the phone and call my DVM, or I would pick up the phone and call another branch manager that's kicking butt and say, "Hey, like I'm struggling. Here's what I'm hitting. Like what can I do here? Like help me out here, basically." Right. So I'm like, let me apply that to the gifting. Hey, Ron, I haven't personally worked with a company like yours before. And then this is the most important question right here. Who would it even make sense to give gifts to? And it's very important. If you'll notice in my slide here, I've got the word even in all caps. I'm going to repeat that question. Who would it even make sense to give gifts to? The beauty of this question is that you're actually inviting the other person to sell you on who they should give gifts to. So you're flipping the script on them, but it's a very low key way of doing it. The walls come down. It's like you're having open conversation. And I don't know. I don't know how you guys are, but if your friends or family or just whoever ask you about your Cutco business, you probably like talking about it a good bit, right? Even at the small scale that most of us are at, you would talk about it for days and days and days. Like nobody wants to talk about the business more than the person who owns the business or runs the business, right? Mike could talk just days on end about Central Region, I'm sure, and all the divisions in Central and all the people in Central, right? And so it's the same thing for everyday business owners. So when you're inviting them to share with you information, most of the time, what I have found in my experience is they'll just open up the book. It's like, here's the playbook. Like you said, I'm the quarterback for our events team, right? Like they're going to open up the playbook because they're the quarterback for their company. And it's like, here's exactly what we should be doing or what we could be doing or what I think we might maybe possibly be doing. Right. And what happened in that moment was Ron said, well, I'm not sure. I mean, I should give some to my employees, right? Like I should be giving them gifts, shouldn't I? And I was like, yeah, it's probably a good idea. Like I think that probably makes sense. He's like, okay, cool. And then I've got I've got I've got this one guy that just man, he basically runs the show for me. He's it. It'd be the equivalent of when I was the Dom for the pilot back in the day, right? Like I was the guy that ran the show, right? So it's like Ron's like, I got this guy that really just runs most of it for me. I should probably do a little bit more for him. I'm like, yeah, that'd probably be a good idea. He goes, and then we don't have like a lot of clients. But we do have we have some really good ones that they really drive the business for us. They spend a lot of money with us every year. I would it make sense for me to give them something? I was like, Ron, I think that makes a ton of sense. I think we should definitely be looking at that. And then you guys can kind of see where I'm going. This is a real conversation. I'm not making any of this up. And when you invite people and you're vulnerable, you invite people to share, they share most of the time, right? And you can practice this in your demos and in day to day life if you want moving forward. But what happened was Ron ended up getting it was like a $4,000 order. Never heard of Cutco before. Didn't know what our gifting program was. It was just by having that conversation. He actually taught me in that moment that okay, if I'm talking to another company like Ron's, that's in the tech industry that does these things, now I know the next time I run across somebody in that industry, in that type of company, now I'm still going to ask them the question, who would it make sense to give gifts to? But I also have a little bit more knowledge and can approach it, right, more intelligently moving forward and kind of guide the conversation. This is exactly what I did in every business industry that I work in right now is I just learned over time from the clients. because that's the best way to learn, in my opinion. Right. So I hope that helps. The first story was about your chicken list, somebody that you already know in your network that you just haven't asked them what they do for work, or maybe you know they own a business and you just haven't gone that route yet. The second story is about somebody that you just completely have no idea about who or what or why they should be giving gifts, and then inviting them to teach you from that moment. So I wanted to share just a couple of and I got a spelling issue there on line 3, but I wanted to just share some main ideas, some of the most popular options for people giving gifts. The main two categories are going to be employees and clients. It could go way deeper than that. I could spend hours teaching you guys in depth, but this is really about the nuts and bolts of giving gifts. There's really two categories for the most part. You got employees, and they would give, for example, annual gifts, which would usually be called a Christmas gift, or end of year gift, or holiday gift, however you want to say it. You have anniversary gifts are really big for somebody that's been around for years. So 10-year, 15, 20, so on and so forth. You could also have milestone gifts. You know, like when I hit Hall of Fame with Cutco, I got the Hall of Fame ring and I got the trophy, right? That ring was not cheap. You know, I don't know. It was a couple $1,000s, probably, maybe more. Like that's something that Cutco invested in me for hitting a milestone. So companies do things like that. Giveaways at Christmas parties, like I mentioned with Kevin and the Corey earlier, or a lot of companies will have a summer picnic where they'll invite the employees and their families out, and they do giveaways there, gifts there. You could also have board member gifts. I've sold to banks for board member gifts, chambers of commerce. I've got a couple chambers that are really good clients of mine, and then charities. And for charities, you know, my mentee Devin, his church, it's actually we go to the same church, but his client works at the church, and they do gifts for their top 100 donors because they have a college attached to the church. Their top 100 donors that help keep the college going get an engraved Cutco knife with the church's logo on it, which is really cool. So there's a lot of different opportunities there with charities. And then on the client side, again, annual gifts. But what I've found is the biggest thing is end of project gifts. I focus a lot on the service industry. When I say service industry, I'm talking about roofers, people that put in flooring, people that do concrete, brickwork, people that do windows and siding. My number one client is in the heating and air industry. They literally install heating and air units, and they give a gift to everybody that buys a unit from them, right? Which is like 300 gifts a year, which is a big one, right? And the reason they do these things is these jobs are like 10, 15, 20, 50, $100,000 jobs. They can budget $100 to $200 knife to give as a gift, no problem. And it's a tax write-off for them. It's 100% deduction from advertising, and they get referrals from it because people give gifts, guys, all the time. There are gift baskets, gift cards. It could be cash. It could be just these random things. It could be food. People get shipped to them, and those things are great. There's nothing wrong with those things. They're way better than nothing. But imagine getting a gift basket. It's gone. Everything we get in the gift basket is gone probably within the week. If I get a gift card, me and my wife will go out and eat once, and then it's done. And I'm probably not even thinking about who gave me the gift card on at dinner. Right? But if you give them a Cutco knife, even if it's just $100 Cutco knife, just one knife, they're going to use that 2 to 300 times a year, year after year after year after year. So instead of the $100 gift card working one time and then it's gone, which is that's a lazy $100, I call it, right? You can give them a $100 Cutco knife and that thing will work for you for years, right? Off of just the one time you bought it. So that's a great gift. And then referral gifts, for example, if somebody sends you a new client. So if I send my dirt guy, you know, I've got a friend that has some land he needs cleared. I say, hey, go see my friend Clay. He has a company. Clay would be obliged to give me some type of referral gifts, right? Now he's not going to give me a knife because I have knives coming out of my ears, but you get the point there, right? The biggest thing for me when it comes to doing business gifts is how does the pricing work? This is actually what kept me out of giving gifts for the longest time. Even back when I was in high school or graduating high school and then in college, I would run across business owners and I would mention this, and then they'd be like, "Give me some pricing or how to give me a quote on this," and I would just blank because we had no formal training on this. So I wanted to give a quick example for you guys here using a lockback because that's my number one gift that I end up selling. So Just as a general understanding, the cost to do a business gift is the cost of the product plus $10 for engraving for each knife. And then there's a $50 digitizing fee. The digitizing fee is essentially if you have a company that they have their own logo, it's not in Cutco's computer system yet to be engraved. So the first time they do that, you have to take the logo and Cutco has to actually pay somebody to get it set up in the Cutco system so that it can be engraved. This is the same thing if you were to get if like Mike were to get hats made with Central Region on them, he would have to pay the hat company to do the same thing, right? So this is normal, right? But that's basically what that is. So to do the lockback example, let's say we're doing 10 lockbacks, right? A lockback is $128 plus 10 bucks for engraving. Now, that's $138 per engraved lockback. Okay. Then let's say we've got 10 lockbacks. That's 1380 for 10 engraved lockbacks. Then the digitizing fee is just one charge. It's not per knife. It's just one charge period on the order. So that's going to be at the very bottom, right? So then it's plus 50 bucks there. It's a one-time fee. And then now you're at 1430 total. Just add sales tax at that point, right? This is a very simple example here that you should put in your notes, or we can share it some other way if you need to. That would help you just kind of understand the pricing, and you can copy paste this with any other product. If they're doing a 5-inch petite santoku, or if they're going to do a spreader, or so on K bar, so on and so forth. Just plug and play with the product there. Now we've got the gifting price list. This is what I use 100% of the time to show people pricing on all of our gift options. I live by this thing. I've actually got one right here, even though I'm on vacation. I carry this with me everywhere, right? And I'll show you a little bit more about it later. But the gifting price list, this is actually where you find it. So if you're taking notes here, this is what you want to write down. So it's going to be on the left hand side of Vector Connect. You got the obviously the hamburger menu. Then you've got gifting, and then go to price lists, and then go to PPSI volume specials. Now I say PPSI because there's a few different price lists listed here. This is the one that you want to use. Okay. This is the one that I use every day. This is the normal price, full price, gift price list here. Okay. So we got here, and this is an example of what would be in the price list. And then I'll actually show you the price list here in a second. This is what the front cover looks like on the left here. Um, it's actually meant to be something that you can print out, put into a booklet just like this if you want, and then you can easily show it. And it's got pictures of everything in it. This is the lock back here. Now, if you'll notice, if we get 10 lockbacks, the lockback plus the $10 engraving is 138 bucks. Pecco's already got that figured out for you there if you get at least 10. Now the pricing here, it starts at 10. You could definitely do less items than 10, but for quantity reasons, Cutco wants us to be able to sell more. And all other companies that sell gifts, they start at a minimum quantity. We just showed 10. What this does is it encourages people to get at least 10 of the gifts, right? Not that they have to, but it encourages them to do that because it looks like that's the starting point there. And then if I've got somebody looking at getting 25, 50, 100, 250, so on and so forth, then what I do at that point is I say, okay, let's say you're getting 30 gifts. Well, then we're going to be in the 25 plus range here, and they're going to be $133 a piece. The biggest question I get is, Philip, how do you get the price to $133 per gift? Can Cutco just let you change the prices? Not exactly. Yes, but no. Okay. If you've ever used the order optimizer, this is where this comes in for business gifts. You can use it for residential orders, regular orders, but I use this for my business gift orders so that I can quickly quote a price using this. Then I just do simple math. They're looking at 30 knives and it's $133 a piece. Then I do some quick math on my calculator and I say, okay, 133 times 30. Miss Jones, it's going to be 39.90, and then you just add the digitizing fee. You're good to go. Right? Now, how do I make that work? Well, what you do is you go to the optimizer. I'm actually going to pop over really quickly, make this easy on everybody. Here we go. So we're going to go to shop. We're going to go to lockback. I'm going to add that. Let me actually move this out of the way as well. All right, perfect. We're going to do 10 of these. And then we're going to click this 3 dots here on the top right, click engrave. Now on the lockback specifically, guys, you have the option to do the blade on the Cutco side where the logo is or on the back, or you can do it on the handle. For demonstration purposes, that doesn't matter. I'll just keep it on the handle. And then right here, it says text only. What you have to do is before you go and do a business gift order, at the top of the screen here, there's the gear icon. You have to click on that and change it to a business gift type order. And then click update. Now what you have the option to do is when you go in here and click engrave, you have the option to change this from text to logo, text left, logo right, text, or logo, and then text right. Basically what that means is some companies will put their logo and they'll want their name on there, their office phone number, or their website, things like that. Or maybe they have a slogan they want to add. But for just simple purposes, we're just going to do logo only. And then logo selection. And then what you'll do is go to new, recently uploaded, and upload a new logo. You can get a PDF of it from your client. You could take a screenshot off their website and upload it, however you want to get it. But this is where you upload it here. Then once you've got it up, I'm not going to do that, but once you've got it uploaded, you're good to go. And then the engraving gets added. Let's see, add engraving. I'll just do text for the time being. We'll just put add engraving. Got that for the recording there. And what it did here is it added $10 per engraving. There's 10 of them, $100, so $13.80. And then you check out from there, guys. That's how you're going to get that. Now, let's say I quoted them. Let's say they're getting 30, as my example said earlier. It automatically updated the engraving cost. And if I did it at $39.90, because we're doing 30 of them at $133 a piece, then $39.90 is my price. So I'm going to do target total price, optimize. So if you'll notice what I did, maybe I went a little too fast there. You're going to go to the bottom here where it says optimize, and then do the target total price. And then target price is $39.90 for this example. And click optimize. And there's an option to do a rep adjustment, and it's going to bonus 1 knife. So essentially you're bonusing 1 knife on there. Let's say that I wanted to give them a really great deal and I gave them the price of the lockback at $125 a piece. Well, then $125 a piece, that's just because we're in push, right? At 30 of them, is $37.50. Then I'm going to click optimize again. And then it tells me to bonus 3 of them, right? And I would just update the cart. And now it bonused it for me, so I don't have to figure out the pricing myself, right? So I don't know if you guys have been using the optimizer for your demos already and your service calls, but if you haven't, it's a really cool tool that Cutco came out with for us recently that we should all be using where it makes sense. Let's see here. I'm going to share back to this. So that's the price list. Now, what are the next steps? Make sure, number 1, you're saving the gifting price list to your device. Number 2, get a printed copy if you can. This is something that is very powerful to have on your appointments, demos, or service calls. It's good to have in your backpack if you run across friends or family that do some type of business. It's also great for if you get on the fair and show team or the events team with Nick or Bert or Fonz. That this is great to have at events, and that's the primary use that I have for it. Make sure you go back now. This is your main thing right here. Go back and create an initial names list from your network that has business owners only. Let's work on that. Like, hey, who have I already sold to that owns a business or runs a business? Who are people that I know that I haven't seen yet that own or run a business? And then the next thing to that is start asking, what do you do for work to every single person that you see moving forward? That way, the amount of people that you have to pitch business gifts to just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And the average order on business gifts is about $2,000, give or take. So it's more than a homemaker, less than a Siggy, but it's an extra package to sell. And I think over time, everybody in this group that implements these things, you're going to add a lot of CPO to your year. And these are people that buy over and over again, too, guys. So hope this helps, and hope you guys crush it with business gifts. I'm excited to hear about the results from hearing this message.
Let's give it up for Philip. Philip, that was absolutely outstanding. And I want to say thank you for making time. I didn't realize it was your vacation. You might have let me know that, but the
I
fact that you
did.
made time, let alone on your vacation, speaks volumes of who you are as a person. Thank you so much. Again, I love just hearing you talk. I mean, that's always fun. And when you say y'all, I can listen to you talk all day. The content was absolutely outstanding. For some of you, it probably feels a little over your head, but like Philip said in his vulnerable way, I love the fact that he was just like, "Hey, I was nervous doing this," and this is a guy who sold $2 million of Cutco, right? You're all going to be nervous asking for something big, at doing something new. It's normal to feel that way, but take Philip's guide there and lead there. Just ask anyway, and you never know what's going to happen from it. I wish you the best, Philip, on your vacation, but also look forward to you having more impact and influence on people in Central. We love working with you. I know the guys love working with you, and hopefully that order turns out with the first guy. All right, we're all pulling for you. Let's send a positive intention for Philip. Let's give him a round of applause, and then we'll let you go, Philip. Thanks so much.
Thanks.